ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ओम शांति 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 प्रज्ञानां शुप्रतानै स्थिरचरनिकर व्यापिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् भुक्त्वा भोगान् स्थविष्ठान् पुनरपि धिषणोद्भासितान् कामजन्यान् पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् स्वपिति मधुरभुं मायया भोजयन्नः माया संख्यातुरीयं परममृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि यो विश्वात्मा विधिज विषयान् प्राश्य भोगान् स्थविष्ठान् पश्चाच्चान्यान् स्वमति विभवान् ज्योतिषा स्वेन सूक्ष्मान् सर्वानेतान् पुनरपि शनैः स्वात्मनि स्थापयित्वा हित्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् विगतगुणगणः पात्वसौ नस्तुरीयः।
Mandukya Karika, Chapter 3, read Karika 6.
रूपकार्य समाख्याश्च भिद्यन्ते तत्र तत्र वै आकाशस्य न भेदोऽस्ति तद्वज्जीवेषु निर्णयः।
Though space, Akasha, is one, it appears as though it is born in many, in terms of pot space, Ghatakasha. And this, taking this to be many, is on account of ignorance of the nature of space, Akasha. So also, though Atma is one, all pervasive, appears as though is born in many embodiments as the embodiments come into existence. So thus it appears one Atma is born in terms of innumerable jivas abiding in innumerable embodiments. But it is only on account of ignorance of the nature of Atma. Atma never is born in so, though seemingly it does appear to be so. But these things are taken real because of ignorance. Now, in these different types of pot spaces, different names are there, different functioning is there, different utility is there. In spite of that, it is only one. And these appear to be different because of ignorance only. The doubt was, why do you say that Atma appears to be different is only because of avidya and it is a false in nature? Without the jivas being real, such difference is not possible. For that, answer was given in terms of pointing out this fact with respect to the Ghatakasha and Mahakasha. Ghatakashas, though not really different, but appear to be so, they have got different names, etc. So in the case of Jiva, it is possible that one and the same Atma, without actually being different, appears to be different in terms of names, in terms of utility, in terms of their function. So we have seen this, we were seeing the Bhashya. You can read the Bhashya, Yatha iha akashe.
यथा इह आकाशे एकस्मिन् घटकरकापवरकाद्याकाशानाम् अल्पत्व महत्वादिरूपाणि भिद्यन्ते तथा कार्यम् उदकाहारधारणशयनादिसमाख्याश्च घटाकाशकरकाकाश इत्याद्याः तत्कृताश्च भिन्नाः दृश्यन्ते.
The illustration of Akash, Ghatakasha is being explained. Though these pot spaces, etc., appear to be different, not in reality, but in terms of only appearance. This difference is only mithya, false in nature. And yet, they have got different names, they have got different karya. So, and again, they have got this rupa, different form, different name, different utility or karya effect. So this is what where in different places. That is being told tatra tatra.
तत्र तत्र वै व्यवहार विषये इत्यर्थः.
This difference in the part space in terms of name, nama, in terms of rupa, form, in terms of karya or utility. Where it is found? Everywhere, where our pots are there, tatra tatra. Tatra means not that simply they are there. Wherever pots, etc. are there, pots, etc. are there, this is what is seen. Vyavahara Vishayi, in terms of the utility of the pots, etc. We find this is one a common phenomena. Ityartha. Continue.
सर्वः अयम् आकाशे रूपादिभेदकृतः व्यवहारः न परमार्थतः एव.
It is pointed out now, this distinction, these differences in terms of rupa, form, in terms of nama, name, in terms of karya, utility. This is not real. This is only an appearance. Don't think that Akash has become many as such. It just appears to be so. It is not real, that's pointed out. So it says, Akashe Rupadi Bheda Kritaha Sarvaha Ayam Vyavaharaha Paramartha Na Eva. It's Akashe, in the Akasha, Mahakasha. This Rupadi Bheda Kritaha Sarvaha Ayam Vyavahara. All these Vyavahara, all these activities brought by what? Rupadi Bhedakrita. Bhedakrita on account of the distinction in terms of Rupa, Nama, Karya. Distinctions brought by different names, forms, and utilities. So it is only because of Akasha Bheda Nimittaha Bhedakritaha Vyavaharaha Paramarthaha Evana. that Vyavahara Bheda is not Paramartha, means it is not in reality. Only appearance. In reality means only because you are finding different names, different forms, and different utilities. Don't think that the pot space differ. There's no division, but appearance only. Because that pot, the wall of the pot itself there in the space, and in and through the space is there. In and through the wall, space, wall of the pot. What is there? Space is there. There's a division now. So it's only appearance. Na paramartha, it is not in reality. So therefore, he concludes that though in the pots, different types of pot species appear to be with different names, forms, and utilities, there is no actual difference, is concluded. Continue.
परमार्थतः तु आकाशस्य न भेदः अस्ति.
Only because of this appearance, in reality, paramarthatah tu, akashasya bhedaha na asti. There is no distinction, there is no difference in the akasha. Akasha is one and the same. It is only an appearance. Further explains, continue.
न च आकाशभेदनिमित्तः व्यवहारः अस्ति अन्तरेण परोपाधिकृतं द्वारम्.
See, this difference, such distinctions are only on account of upadhis. Other than upadhis, there is no reason whatsoever for this seeming appearance or seeming different names, seeming different forms, and seeming different utilities. Is paropadhikritam dwaram antarena. Paropadhikritam dwaram antarena akasha bheda nimittaha vyavaharaha na asti. Akasha bheda nimittaha vyavaharaha na cha asti. Says such distinction is not there possible except other than the upadhis. Para upadhikritam, the bheda, it represents bheda. What is the para upadhi? Like pots, pitchers, pan, like that, different, the different configuration that is given to the mud in terms of different items like pots, etc. And the space contained therein. Other than upadhikrita dwaram antarena. Dwaram here is medium, means. Other than the mediums or the means such as pots, pitcher, etc. Antarena, antarena means vina, without it. Without it. Akasha bheda nimittaha vyavahara nasti. The vyavahara in terms of different spaces, as it were, without such upadhi is not possible. 1 liter pot, 10 liter pot, 15 liter pot. Because of what? Not that actual space, it's because of the configuration of that pot, which can have only one volume of 1 liter, other the volume of 10 liters, other the volume of 15 liters, because of upadhis. Nothing, the space has nothing to do with that. And because of this, names differ, utility differs, all because of the upadhis, not because there is actual different types of spaces born. They are not born at all. So upadikara nimitta vedaha nasti. This is the explanation of illustration of Akasha, which was given earlier. It applies here also. Here also means what? The difference, distinction in the nama, name, rupa, form, karya, utility is possible without any intrinsic difference in the space. And how it has come into existence? Because of upadhi. Upadhi of pots, different types of pots, etc., different configurations. Just this is so now illustrated. Atma, though one and the same, because of different types of upadhis. This is cow embodiment. This is horse embodiment. This is human embodiment. This is bird embodiment. This is reptile embodiment. Like that, the Atma appears to be different jivas with different names, with different forms, with different functions. It is all account of upadhis, embodiments wielded, but not on account of Atma. So illustrated, Darshtanta is explained now. Read Yatha Etat.
यथा एतत् तद्वत् देहोपाधिकृतेषु जीवेषु घटाकाशस्थानीयेषु आत्मसु निरूपणात् कृतः बुद्धिमद्भिः निर्णयः निश्चयः इत्यर्थः.
Based on this, wise people, in the sense, jnanis, have arrived at this ascertainment. What is it? Yatha etad. Etad drishtanta. Just as this drishtanta. What drishtanta? The drishtanta of Akasha, Ghatakasha. Tadvat. In the same manner, they this again yatha etat drishtanta means illustration of akasha bheda, appearance of different types of species, though space is not born in terms of these. Tadvat, in the same manner, dehopadi bheta kruteshu jiveshu. In the case of jivas, different types of jivas, on account of deha upadhi. For example, now you take illustration of electricity. Electricity is one and the same. But in a bulb, electric bulb of 25 watt, it is dim. The 1000 watt, it is what? Bright. In a air conditioner, it is cool. In a heater, it is hot. Appears so. Different names. Geyser, cooler, and all the bulb, radio, television. All because upadhis. There is no television, electricity, and what? Heater, electricity. But it appears so. So therefore, dehopadi bheda kriteshu, on account of distinctions brought into existence by different types of upadhis, as a result, the appearance of different jivas. Just as 1 liter space, 5 liter space, 10 liter space, like this. This is Brahmana, this is Kshatriya, this is cow, this is elephant, this is Chandala, like that. Jiveshu, who are in the place of what? Applying the illustration. Ghatakasha sthaniyeshu, draws the parallels. Jivas are in the place of Ghatakasha, different Ghatakasha pot spaces. Atmasu. Atmasu. That is in the case of Atma. With respect to Atma. Nirupanat buddhimadvi nirnayaha nishchayaha kritaha ityartha. In the case of Atma, appearing as different jivas, just as in the case of Ghatakasha, here Atmasu is the witness that Nirupanat, by investigation, by discrimination, Nirupanat, Buddhimadbhi, wise people, here wise people means Jnanis, by Atma Jnani, Jivan Muktas. Nirnayaha, Nishchayaha, Nirnaya from the Karika, means Nishchaya. Nishchaya, that is the ascertainment. Kritaha. What Nishchaya? Veda is na paramarthikaha. Such distinctions in the jiva is not in reality. The one all-pervasive Atma truly has not become many jivas. Only one and the same appears to be different, just like one and the same Akasha appears to be different. Still, Purva Paksha is not ready to accept. No, sir, it's real difference. I can't accept your false difference because of avidya. Unless you are bringing avidya here. When the difference being real, to bringing avidya is what? Impertinence. Why are you bringing that? So this person needs to be educated further. Ask him, you are telling us that Mahakasha, total space, has become pot space, etc. You are claiming that these distinctions are real. Tell me, if they have to be real, something must have happened to the Mahakasha. And Mahakasha, total space, has got modified into, changed into some vikara, some change. And therefore, different types of this. From milk, curds, buttermilk, butter, ghee, by vikara. Like that, you have to point us out some vikara, some transformation, some change in the Akasha to become different types of actual pot spaces. We are not talking about seeming, what we are telling. Or you have to say that Akasha is one, but it has got different limbs, avayavas, like hand, leg, nostril, ears, belly, like this. You have to point out. Such a thing is not available. Akasha is formless. In an entity which has got a form, only avayavas, organs, limbs are possible. A formless cannot have any limbs. again this Akasha is not subject to any change. And in spite of this, there appears to be change. Necessarily, it should be false in nature. That is what we are telling you from the beginning. The real Veda distinction, as you advocate, is not possible. So this doubt is raised, for which the answer is going to be given in the 7th Karika. Before that, let us see Prastavana Bhashya. Read Bhashya, Nanu Tatra.
ननु तत्र परमार्थकृते एव आकाशादिषु रूपकार्यादि भेद व्यवहारः इति.
The Purapaksha, you object. Sir, what you said is not correct, sir. It is like this. What is it? He says, Nanu Tatra Ghatakashadishu. Tatra Ghatakashadishu. Rupakaryadi Bheda Vyavaharaha Paramarthakritaha Eva Iti. He says, Nanu, to draw your attention, listen, this is what I have to say. Tatra, Tatra means Akasha Drishtante. In the case of illustration of Akasha, Akasha Drishtante, Ghatakashadishu. In the case of pot space, picture space, etc. Rupa karyade bheda vyavahara. Different activities in terms of different names, different forms, and different utilities. Vyavahara. Paramartha krita eva. He insists. It is really so. In reality, it's so. What it is means it is not an appearance. It really is so. This is what he says. Who insists? Purapaksha. For which Siddhanti start giving answer. First is he denies. Read.
नाकाशस्य घटाकाशो विका
Bhashya. Naitadasti.
नैतदस्ति.
Sir, this is not so. What you said is not correct. Continue. Yasmat.
यस्मात्.
Bas. So this is up to here is a prastavana. That is because of this printing so. Actually, I don't know whether Gita Press had done so. They must have done it for it. Nanu, Tatra, etc. up to Yasmat should come before the Karika and then Karika should start. Some do that. But here they have not done, but we should know that. Because this is a link to the next Karika with respect to the earlier Karikas. The reason given the earlier Karika, Purvapaksha is not yet ready to accept, though told clearly. And he objects. For whom now the answer is being given. Yasmat, because what you say, sir, what you said is not correct. Why? Because. What is that because? Answer. Karika 7. Read now 7.
नाकाशस्य घटाकाशो विकारावयवौ यथा नैवात्मानः सदा जीवो विकारावयवौ तथा.
यथा आकाशस्य घटाकाशः विकारावयवौ न तथा आत्मनः जीवः विकारावयवौ सदा न एव न एव भवति, जीवः न भवति, तथा आत्मनः जीवः विकारावयवौ सदा न एव is also there. न एव भवति. First, what is the fact? In the case of illustration is told, then it is applied to the illustrated Dashtanta. Yatha, just as Akashasya Ghatakasha, the pot space of total space cannot be this. Vikaravayavana, from total space, pot space has not emerged as an effect after some modification, after some change in the total space. Means it is not vikara. Also, it is not an avayava. Pot space is not an limb, organ of total space, because total space is all pervasive, it is homogeneous, there are no changes in that. Only in limited entities, parts can be there, portions can be there, the limbs can be there, but not in an all-pervasive, homogeneous. Homogeneous means same everywhere. In homogeneous entities. तथा आकाश घटाकाश विकार अवयव न. It is neither vikara, change or a modification, nor a limb. This is what the case is in the Drishtanta illustration of Ghatakasha. Same thing is applied to Dashtanta. Tatha, in the same manner, Atmanaha, Atma here is of Atma, not from Atma. For those who don't know declension, no problem. Those who know little declension, Atmanaha, from Atma and of Atma, one and the same. So therefore here context wise, of Atma, sixth case. Jivaha, Vikaravayavo na bhavati. Jiva is not a vikara, a modification of Atma. Why? Atma is avikari, changeless. Avayava, a limb of Atma, no. Why? Atma is niravayava, limbless, partless. What? How do you say so, Shruti? You can't just imagine Atma. Atma is an entity which is atindriya, imperceptible. It has no gunas such as Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. As a result, Jnanendriyas cannot perceive as this is Atma. It cannot be objectified at all. So that being the case, Jiva is neither a modification of Atma nor a limb, avayava, a part of Atma. Yet, appearance on account of ignorance is there. Bhashya is going to explain it now. Paramarthakashasya.
परमार्थाकाशस्य घटाकाशः न विकारः।
Paramarthakashasya. What is Paramarthakasha? It means a total space. What does it specify? To say Upadhi less Akasha. Akasha, space, free from all Upadhis. So therefore, here Paramartha Akasha is no doubt Mahakasha, which means Upadhi less Akasha, Upadhi Rahita Akasha. Akasha, wherein Upadhis like pots, etc., are not there. So of that total space, Ghatakasha Vikaraha. No. Ghatakasha pot space is not a vikara. You claim, the pot maker, and you claim as a pot space. Ask the space. This is what pot space you are talking. This much is true present. I have given accommodation to pot. That's true. That is my nature. Akasha is given to Avakasha, which gives the accommodation. Yes. I have given accommodation for pot to exist in me. There's nothing called pot space. You think that is your problem. What can I do about it? You are using, I'm happy. But there is nothing called pot space. Only I, Akasha, is there. So therefore he says, Paramarthakashasya, of Mahakasha, of total space, or the space totally free from Upadhi. This so-called Ghatakasha, for Vyavahara, which is considered as pot space, that pot space, Vikarahana, number one, is not a modification. This is explained now with the help of another illustration. Yatha, read.
यथा सुवर्णस्य रुचकादिः यथा वा अपां फेन बुद्बुदा हिमादिः.
It is like this. Yatha, just as Suvarnasya. In the case of gold, Suvarnasya, Ruchakadihi. Ruchaka is necklace, or it can be also a coin called Rupaka, somewhat of a rupee. A coin called Rupaka. Better take necklace. All the olden days golden coins were there. See how India was rich. Coins also in gold. You see the temples, how they are studded with gold. India was not poor country in the Vedic age. The prosperous, highly advanced in education, both Paravidya and Aparavidya. Even in the academic education also, India was ahead. If you have got a doubt, read a book called Beautiful Tree by Dharampal. He was a Gandhian. And he has said, which is in the record of British government, somewhere in 18 something, a century, 18th century, UK had one school. India, different states had thousands of them. The given figure is given. Thousands. And you should see the syllabus. Engineering, metallurgy, medicine, many of these day-to-day utilities. And those who have learned and graduated from them, they were self-dependent. There was no need of going from door to door with the begging bowl of degree, begging for a job. See, in fact, this was pointed out by Mahatma Gandhi based on this in the round table conference. He said, before you, India had all advanced. How dare you say? He showed their own records, recorded them. And that is what they thought. If this continues, British cannot rule over them. So they destroyed the entire system of education. So what a great loss, not only India, for all world. The whole world could have emulated this system and they would have become prosperous. But just to rule over here, they devastated. And now foreign rule has gone. But the slavish mentality to the foreign is still there in Indians. I'm very sorry to tell this. High time we realize our strength, learn it, put in practice. Indians are like elephants or Hanuman. Such potentiality is there. Alas, elephant doesn't know its strength. And thereby it becomes the slave of that Mahut rider with the one spear. Hanuman, he had his curse. He was not aware of his powers unless someone reminds him. So Indians need to be reminded of their native culture, and those things need to be revived. This aping the West is not going to help except in getting degraded in terms of values, etc. What happens in the West. The dirty things we are very fast to learn. There are good things in foreigners, Westerners, hard working. No, I think who is that? Our former president, Abdul Kalam, has said, you work so hard in the foreign countries. What is wrong with you to work like this in our country? Our country, everybody is Maharaja, asking others to do that. They are their slave. You are cursing your country. Dirty country. Have you got guts to spit on the road in foreign countries like West America, etc.? Have you got this thing, courage? No. In India, you take your dogs for their natural cause on the footpath and the municipality has to clear that. And you expect something great from this. And he questioned. You expect everything from a mother country. When the Kuwait was invaded by Saddam, you expect government of India to send Indian Airlines and to evacuate you. But you are not bothered about your country. The slavish mentality. has to go. So don't have adverse opinion about this Vedanta, etc. These idlers, etc. Who told you? The academic education has no value. See Mundukya mentioned. Paravidya, aparavidya. From apara, you travel to para. That's why India was prosperous. But unfortunately, we have lost that knowledge. Therefore, we have to revive that. So that being the case, see here. In the case of gold, that ruchaka adi, necklace, etc., say, is what it is, not a reality. It's only an appearance. Because, see, a nugget of gold and the necklaces, they appear to be different. It's not vikara, it's not change. Gold has not got transformed to something else. It's only a different configuration, a different akara, a different form. Mud is made into a pot. From one angle, it is not vikara. It's only a different configuration. It appears to be so. So like this, just as suvarnasya ruchakadihi, ruchaka we have seen, what is that? Necklace, or in some cases rupee, not rupee, rupaka was there, golden. I have to tell all this because our coins were golden coins. Think of it. Deities, etc., decorated over. You see that in the temples, etc., what all diamonds and this golden ornaments, etc., rich. Even today they are there. Wherever they are, others are not looted. They are there. So, but here in this case, take a necklace is better because rupaka nowadays it may not work. This illustration may not work because people are not aware of it. Rujakadi yatha. Va, another illustration. Apam fena budbuda himadi. In the case of water, fena, foam, ocean, in the ocean. Big waves and come and splash on the beach. And when the water falls on the beach, you see the foam. Wherever the water is gushing, you can see the foam. There is no soap in that, okay? I say soap is there. Without any soap. Foam. Budbuda, bubbles. Hima, ice. What is same? Appears as foam, appears as bubbles. Of course, bubbles need not be other bubbles. You've seen this in the Bombay. This is not that easy. In the villages and towns, etc., where the roof is of tiles, and then in the monsoon, the water falls there. There you can see. Very interesting sight to see that. How the bubbles move with the flow of the water. Big bubble, small bubble, and it is an interesting thing to note how long a bubble will continue. Between patak, it just fills away. But it's water only. Budbada, hima, ice. With what? Water. Appearance is different. It is not avayava. It is not vikara. It is not vikara. Therefore, this is as far as the vikara is concerned. Then avayava. Continue.
नापि अवयवः वृक्षस्य शाखादिः
यथा वृक्षस्य शाखादि. नापि avayava. So, Ghatakasha is not a part of total Akasha. Like Shakhadihi Vrikshas. Shakha, branch. Branch, trunk, root, twigs, leaves, flowers, fruits. Different parts of a tree. Like that. Who total space has got pot space, hall space, and what is that? Something like this. Different spaces. No, they are not the parts. So vrikshas shakadi. Similarly, jivas are neither this is what vikara or avayava of Atma. Continue.
न तथा आकाशस्य घटाकाशः विकारावयवौ यथा तथा नैव आत्मनः परस्य परमार्थसतः महाकाशस्थानीयस्य घटाकाशस्थानीयः जीवः सदा सर्वदा यथोक्तदृष्टान्तवत् न विकारः नापि अवयवः.
न तथा means not just as it is found in the case of illustration of Akasha, so also here tatha, that na should go afterwards with that na vikara yavav, there it should go. You have to like this tatha akashasya ghatakasha vikaravayav na yatha tatha. So, just as in the case of Akasha space, no properly Ghatakasha, Mahakasha, don't get confused. You should know this. You should be familiar with these terminologies. Just as every time there is no point in translating in English, because as far as we Indians are concerned, the native words are understood quickly, grasped quickly than this translation. The translation to English. In Indian language, has that capacity to bear the load of Vedanta, unlike in English. For a small thing, you have to go on adding clauses and clauses and clauses to explain what it is. But they don't have these words. But we have to do it because we are following that language. To those who can't understand otherwise. That's why you can see that. Same exposition as in English when it is given the Indian languages to those who that language is the mother tongue. It is so clear. They become very clear. Even I have seen from my experience while translating some of my books in Kannada and Marathi. Big sentences, phrases can be just reduced to one or two words with full clarity. But these words are very readily available in our languages, which is not so in English. It becomes a load, as it were, on the language to explain all these things. Fine. Of course, the best thing is Sanskrit only. But to those who don't know Sanskrit, we have to take to mother tongue. And those who are not that distinct, conversant in mother tongue, go more in the English language from the convent, from the childhood onwards. We have to somehow, we have to make the humanity aware of this knowledge, even in the distant corner of the world, in their own native language, need not be English. It will not be possible to do full justice, as in the case of Sanskrit. And yet, they will get something. Such a thing is there. They are not aware of. That's why you see, olden days, in the Vedic age, this was well known. Atma-jnana, Brahma-jnana. So mumukshus used to travel from place to place in search of gurus. The value was there. And the gurus also were never teaching without testing the student. It was a waste of time for him and a waste of time for the student. But that won't work today. People don't know such a thing is there. They have to get something like that. Some Westerners somehow study something, not totally, and then comes out in the method. Mindfulness, Indian variety, heartfulness. Few something picked up from our Shastras. Of course, originators may be honest. They wanted to find something as such, and they shared with others. And our Indians are, something new, and they fall for it. Mindfulness, heartfulness, etc. Of course, you are benefited, do take advantage of that, but know that it is the source is here in our own Shastras. So, this Ghatakasha is not because it seems like the Ghatapata, same word stuff, so therefore be clear as to what is what. Just as pot space cannot be the vikara modification of akasha, just as pot space cannot be avayava, limb of total space, mahakasha, tatha naiva atmanaha, in the case of atma, which atma? Parasya atmana. Who is that para atma? Paramartha sataha atmana. Atma is the absolute reality, who is in the place of Mahakasha in the illustration. Mahakasha sthaniyasya. One in the place of total space. Ghatakasha sthaniyaha jiva. Jiva, who is in the place of pot space. Sada sarvada, all the time. See, yathokta drishtantavat, as in the illustration of pot space and total space described now. Na vikaraha, na avayavaha, na api avayavaha. Neither change, vikara, modification, and also not limb. Therefore, Bhashyakara concludes, read ataha.
अतः आत्मकृतः व्यवहारः मृषा एव इत्यर्थः.
Ataha atma bheda kritaha vyavaharaha mrisha eva ityartha. So the vyavahara bheda. What is the vyavahara bheda? Different nama, different name, different rupa, form, different karya, utility. This is where in the case of atma, in terms of jivas, different jivas. So this vyavahara, Bhashya eva, false in nature, not true. Just in the case of who is of the Akasha, example of Ghatakasha and Mahakasha. So that being the case, give up your wrong notion that there is real Veda and therefore these things are possible. Without real Veda, these are not possible. No, we have seen shown in the case of illustration of part space and total space. Without real Veda distinction, such distinct and different utilities, names, forms are possible. So is the case of Jiva with respect to Atma. We'll continue.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्याय्येन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ओम सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय ओम शांति शांति शांतिः ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति शांति शांतिः हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम।